Hey guys, I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. Um, Today on my 30-day blog, I have to talk to you about satisfaction, a time when I felt fully satisfied, and to describe it to you and what went down. So, I'm going to tell you about the time that I had my kid. It was the most satisfaction I've gotten out of my whole entire life. I've always been afraid of childbirth and being able to go through it. It was one of my biggest fears ever because pain and me don't get along very well. So me accomplishing this, it was like the greatest thing in the whole world. So when I did go eventually into labor and started having contractions and stuff, I ended up driving myself to the hospital because he wouldn't. So about 2 o'clock in the morning, I got to the hospital. I had to drive a town over, and when I got there, it was very fun walking across the parking lot. I shouldn't have drove. When I got inside the building, I sat down and they asked what was wrong or what was going on in the emergency room. I was like, I'm in labor. So they got a wheelchair, checked me all in, and the only reason we got a wheelchair was because I was having so much pain that I couldn't walk. Because I got like 10 feet down the hallway and they brought me a wheelchair and I was like, no. Finally got down to where I needed to be and they checked everything out and I was only 2 centimeters dilated and I looked at her and I was like, you are not sending me home. I am not going home. They're like, okay. And I looked. I was lucky and got the biggest room that they have there. It's got like a whirlpool bathroom, like everything. It's awesome. I wish I could have used it. My plan was to use it, but it didn't happen that way. I was in so much pain from 2 o'clock in the morning to about 7:30 that morning. I was passing out from pain in and out of it. My mother came in for a couple hours, and she said it looked like I was going to rip off the side of the bed. I was like, well, damn. But then they tried giving me some medication for pain in the meantime because I couldn't get the epidural yet. So at 7:30 in the morning, they finally was able to give me my epidural, which I am a bony person. My back sticks out pretty good, so they had no problems. And they worked really well in between my contractions, so that was awesome. Then once they finally got in there, I was numb, waist down, and I was actually able to stay awake and socialize and kind of just relax and enjoy myself for a little bit instead of passing out in and out, which was awesome. But because of all of that, I wasn't able to go sit in the whirlpool or get in the shower or do any kind of walking around, which sucked. So finally, around 5 o'clock, which I am leaving out a lot of details because we would be here all night if I was telling you everything. But around 5 o'clock, my doctor came in, my whatever she is, the midwife, I think it's called. Can't remember, God. She came in and she popped my water, and it kind of just went everywheres. So, that was great. It was disgusting, actually. Anywho, she told me that when I start feeling pressure to get her to come back. So, around 5:30. Yeah, it was around 5:30. It was time. She came back up, and the long agony process of it started. I pushed for about an hour and a half, and my daughter was born at 7:04 p.m. Yeah, it was a really long couple 24 hours or whatever, but it was worth it in the long run, and I wouldn't change it for anyone. As soon as her head came through, her shoulders were still there. I was begging my doctor to pull her the rest of the way out. And when they did and they plopped her on top of me, I just cried. That was it. I was so satisfied. I was so happy. I did it. And then after, they took her off of me and they cleaned her up and did what they needed to do. And then it was time to give birth to the placenta, and that was terrible. My doctor after plopped it on top of me and started playing with it, and I looked at her and I was like, I'm sorry, but I really need to turn on my side. I'm really not feeling good now. I didn't eat for a good over 24, 48 hours beforehand. I didn't use the bathroom. I haven't done nothing. So you can imagine how I'm feeling after pushing a child out of me and having, nothing to me. Yeah. After they got, things kind of cleaned up, I went to use the bathroom. It was the longest piss I've ever taken in my entire life, and it was straight water from all the fluids they've been pumping into me. Yeah. Let's just say I sat there for a good, minute and a half, just peeing. And then after, I was able to finally shower. That felt amazing. And then from there on, it was spending time with my newborn, and I want to cry thinking about it. I wish she never had to grow up. I wish I could have stayed in that moment for a very long time. That one-on-one with her and me is something you can't take back. It's something that you can't get again. You can't. It was amazing. And for all you mothers out there, I hope that you got to experience what I did. I hope that in the future, any pregnant people out there, that you get to experience what I experienced. There's no bond you can get from another person other than your own child. The feeling is just amazement. I didn't know what love was until then, to those moments. Anyways, I hope everyone has a good night, and I am exhausted, and so I'm gonna go to bed. Good night.